Hello, friends. I hope you're well. Today, I want to invite you to reflect on 7 rarely discussed figures who, like the 7 days of creation, as explained in the remarkable documentary Messiah 2030, parallel the 7 millennia of human history. This story, I will tell you below, repeats the same pattern. These are the 7 sons of Leah, a woman forgotten by her husband, but remembered by God. Each of her children was named for a reason. And by studying their names, we see a reflection of the entire history of humanity, from Adam to the millennial reign of the Messiah. Today, I invite you to discover the prophetic mystery hidden in the sons of Leah. Day 1, Millennium 1, Reuben, light and the fall. Genesis 29:32. And she called his name Reuben, for she said, "The Lord has seen my affliction," meaning, look, a son. The parallel with creation, let there be light, separation of light and darkness. Genesis 1:3. The spiritual parallel. The first son and the first millennium have something in common: the fall. Adam, the son of God, falls. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, falls when he sleeps with Bilhah. We can read this story in Genesis 35:22. God sees the affliction, but also the sin. Reuben, the first but not the chosen. The light was separated from the darkness. Day 2, Millennium 2, Simeon, separation and cry. Genesis 29:33. And she called his name Simeon, for she said, "Because the Lord has heard that I was despised," meaning God has heard. The parallel with creation is the separation of the waters, above and below. Genesis 1:6-8. The spiritual parallel. God begins to separate a people. From Noah to Abraham, the world is divided. God hears the cry of the righteous in the midst of corruption. Simeon represents that cry in the midst of idolatry. Simeon represents the God who hears, even in times of judgment. Day 3, Millennium 3, Levi, fruit and union. Genesis 29:34. And she called his name Levi, for she said, "Now will my husband be joined to me," meaning united, associated. The creation parallel is the creation of the dry earth, vegetation, and seed-bearing plants, as described in Genesis 19:13. Spiritual parallel. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. God's people begin to take root, and from Levi the priest will come. It is the millennium where the seed of faith begins to flourish. Levi is the fruit of the ground and the seed of the priesthood. Day 4, Millennium 4, Judah, light and redemption. Genesis 29:35. And she called his name Judah, for she said, "This time I will give thanks to the Lord," meaning praise. The parallel with creation is the sun, moon, and stars to give light. Genesis 1:14-19. Spiritual parallel. From Judah comes David, and then Jesus, the light of the world. It is in this millennium that the greatest light comes to the earth. Genesis 49:10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh comes. From the fourth son, redemption. The Lamb is born in the 4th millennium. Day 5, Millennium 5, Issachar, multiplication and reward. Genesis 30:18. And she called his name Issachar, for she said, "God has given me my reward," meaning reward. The parallel with creation is the birds and fish that fill the sky and the sea in Genesis 1:20-23. Spiritual parallel. After Christ's resurrection, the gospel multiplies. Believers are called to be fishers of men. Issachar represents the fruit of obedience, a reward for spiritual work. Issachar is a reward for the faithful. The gospel flies and swims to all nations. Day 6, Millennium 6, Zebulun, man and the dwelling place. Genesis 30:20. And she called his name Zebulun, for she said, "God has endowed me with a goodly portion," meaning dwelling place / to inhabit. The parallel of the creation of animals and humanity. Genesis 1:24-31. Spiritual parallel. In the 6th millennium, man dominates the world. Technology, science, power. But he also reaches his moral limit. Zebulun represents the longing for God to dwell with us. anticipating the millennial kingdom. Zebulun is the threshold of the kingdom. Man reaches his limit and needs redemption. Day 7, Millennium 7, Dinah, justice and restoration. Genesis 30:21. Then she gave birth to a daughter, and she named her Dinah, meaning justice or judgment. Creation, Sabbath rest, Genesis 2:1-3. Spiritual parallel. Dinah, the only daughter, represents the church, the bride. In the 7th millennium, Christ reigns, and justice is finally manifested. Dinah was humiliated, but now she is restored. The millennial kingdom brings God's Shabbat to earth. Dinah, the 7th symbol of the church, persecuted but not forgotten. 7 days, 7 millennia, 7 children, 1 perfect plan. God does not forget the despised. Leah was forgotten by her husband, but chosen by heaven to carry on the messianic line, and also the prophetic map of humanity. We are entering the 7th millennium. Are we ready for rest? For judgment? For restoration? God not only creates, He also restores, and the day is coming when He will dwell among us. Well, friends, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like, you can make a contribution through Patreon, PayPal, or cryptocurrency in the description of this video. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, God bless you.